and welcome to this week's episode of diverCity. I'm Jade Garcia.
And I'm Felix Franz. Our stories this week involve coffee, hyenas and Oompa Loompas, and pancakes.
But first, a roundup of our international news with Liana Kajarova.
During this week's press conference on the Ukrainian crisis, Vladimir Putin said that deploying military forces is the last resort. However, Moscow reserves the right to do this if radicals in Kyiv use violence against the civilians, particularly ethnic Russians. Meanwhile, even though not a single shot was made, Russia already paid financial price for its military presence in the Crimea region, with stocks, bonds and ruble plunging dramatically. The trial of Suleiman Abu Ghaith, a son-in-law of Osama bin Laden, started in New York City on Monday. Prosecutors are alleging that he conspired to kill US citizens and supported terrorism during his time as Al-Qaeda spokesman. He is the highest-ranking member of Al-Qaeda to stand the trial since 9/11. India's parliamentary election will start on the 7th of April. The race will put BJP leader Narendra Modi against the unpopular ruling Congress party. 814 million people will be eligible to vote. This number is larger than the whole population of Europe. It will make these elections the biggest the world has ever seen. The Mondadori publishing house is launching a new magazine entirely devoted to doings, sayings, gestures and activities of Pope Francis. My Pope magazine will have a free pull-out poster with the most memorable quote of Pope Francis. That is all for international news. Back to you guys.
How many is that today?
7. Students need coffee.
That's right. Where you won't be getting it from is Sadler's. The coffee machine has been broken for quite a while now. I went to find out why and see if it's ever going to come back.
Most students are familiar with the Sadler's Bar. It's a place where you can have a drink, play pool, grab a bite to eat, but students can't get their daily caffeine fix. The coffee machine here at Sadler's has been out of order for almost 5 months. We asked the students if that is an issue for them.
I've never got coffee. I didn't even know there was a coffee machine. Yeah, I think it'll be good because we only have Costa in the uni, so it'll be quite good to get a coffee machine in the SU, yeah.
I didn't even know there was a coffee machine in here, but yeah, it would be nice if there was.
I didn't know there was a coffee machine.
Oh, really? People want their coffee, because I see a lot of people in Costa, so there obviously are a few coffee drinkers at the university, so they need to fix that.
We asked our student union president Giulio Follino if there's anything that can be done.
We approached the Sadler's Bar team last week to raise the issue with them, and we haven't been told of what's going to be done about the problem just yet, but I'm sure we'll hear from them quite soon.
This became a particular issue for students last week when the other machine on campus was also broken.
Yeah, I mean, the one in Costa always breaks as well, but it gets repaired and then it breaks and then it gets repaired. But this one seems to just be dead for a long time now.
The management at Sadler's declined to comment, so we headed back to Costa. We might not be able to get answers here, but at least we can get some caffeine. So what we found is there are currently no plans of fixing the coffee machine. We were told that fixing the boiler would be too expensive, especially since Sadler's is going to be replaced by a new students' union pub in the near future. I'm sure Costa doesn't mind.
Tuesday was International Pancake Day. Pancake races took place all over London.
At Westminster, journalists and politicians took to the griddle for a charitable cause. Our reporter Laura Gerler was at the scene to see who flipped the victory.
There was flipping and flopping as politicians from both houses and political journalists ran circles at Victoria Tower Gardens. It was the 17th annual parliamentary pancake race. And it was a real nail-biter. All teams were fighting for the very famous and prestigious Rehab Parliamentary Pancake Race Tin Cup. And there are rules to the game. No shortcuts, no violence, and the pancakes must be constantly tossed in the air. Referee was ITV News presenter Nina Jose.
A year when we can get the politicians from the Houses of Parliament and my colleagues from the media to come together and play nicely.
After a nerve-wracking 3 minutes and 56 seconds, the Lords team won the race, leaving this year's favourites, the MPs, in second place. Finishing last in the race, the media accused the politicians of foul play.
We never win because they always cheat. And the truth is, it's like real life in truth. We normally beat them in real life, but on occasion like today, we're willing to give them a little bit of leeway just to cheer them up because they get a bit depressed by journalists otherwise.
Baffled by the loss, MP Stephen Pound has already called for a parliamentary inquiry of what he calls Pancake Gate. and he already has a plan for next year's comeback.
Well, we're going to have a sniper on the roof of Lambeth Palace with a long-range rifle, and we're going to shoot... No, I mustn't tell you that. That's our secret plan.
However, the parliamentarians are not the only ones already strategizing for next year's race.
I mean, to be honest, the end of any pancake race is just the beginning of preparation for the next one. I have to psych myself up at each stage. I wake up in the morning and think, can I be a complete tosser today? And the answer is yes.
Well, I still have to work on my toss. In the meanwhile, the Lords take home a glorious victory over the MPs who have been winning the pancake race for the last 2 years. But the real winner is the charity Rehab, which provides care to over 60,000 people each year. People that suffer from mental health issues, brain injuries, and other disabilities.
I mean, the important thing is it's actually Rehab won. Doesn't matter who the hell else. Rehab won, and the people that Rehab look after, they're the winners today.
Laura Gerler, Westminster, London.
And now to sports with Jonathan Shkurko.
Thank you, guys. Oscar Pistorius has pleaded not guilty to a charge of murder at the start of his trial at Pretoria High Court in South Africa. The former athlete is accused of premeditated murder of former girlfriend Riva Stenkamp on last year's St. Valentine's Day. Pistorius rejected all 3 charges for which he is accused. In addition to murder, he denied the use of weapons in a public place and possession of firearms without a permit. Aaron Ramsey will give Arsenal a major boost this week by signing a vastly improved 5-year contract with the club. The Welsh international has agreed a deal worth £100,000 per week, more than double his current salary. This will make him the second highest paid player at Arsenal, behind only Mesut Ozil. Newcastle manager Alan Pardew has been charged with improper conduct by the Football Association after headbutting Hull midfielder David Mailer. He apologised after Saturday's match, but Newcastle have fined him £100,000 and issued a formal warning, although he will not face criminal punishment. Scotland's head coach Scott Johnson says he has recalled skipper Kelly Brown for Saturday's Six Nations match against France because his teammates desperately need him. Despite sitting out the dramatic last-minute win at the Stadio Olimpico secured by Duncan Ware's drop goal 10 seconds from time, Brown is now back to lead the side against Les Bleus and Murrayfield. And this was all from the sports world. Back to you guys.
When you think about university sports, do you wonder if it's all about pressure drinking, partying and freshman initiation?
Well, to make sure that this doesn't become a reality at City, the student union wants to implement a plan with all team captains to eliminate any possibility of hazing and keep all the athletes safe.
1, 2, 3, 7.
Initiations in clubs, societies, and especially in sports have become a forefront issue at universities in the UK. Over the last decade, there have been tragic accidents at the hands of sports club binge drinking. Clubs have been fined sizable portions of union funding, captains dismissed, and reputations stained at the hands of wild behavior.
It's almost customary in rugby especially when you play your first games with maybe bigger guys, like in the first team maybe, but not things which you should be scared of. I mean, it's just regular fun with your teammates.
City University's Students' Union decided to propose a joint policy with the sports teams to make sure members don't feel pressured to partake in any activities that might degrade them.
If we do receive any reports that, people who want to join sports teams are forced to take part in a ritual or have to take part in drinking a certain amount, there are penalties that can be put in place. And I'd like to emphasise that this is regarding excessive drinking, and I know that is quite a difficult thing to measure. But if a student comes to us and says, I was put under pressure to neck a pint, I don't know if you've heard about the whole neck nomination thing, but if a student comes to us saying, we were forced to do this by either sports team societies or any other clubs, the kind of penalties that will be put in place.
Some athletes at City feel this policy will not make a difference in the pressure to binge drink or to take part in initiations.
I don't think that many is going to notice that there's a change if there's a change of rules, how much or restrictions.
With City's new sports facility to open soon, the university and sports managers will be open-minded about the possibility of hazing, binge drinking, and an increase in initiations on campus. This is Catherine Iorio reporting for diverCity.
This was a big week in entertainment with the Oscars and the Razzies. Janan Rahma will tell you all about it.
Sunday's Oscars was reportedly watched by 43 million viewers in the US. This is the biggest audience for an Academy Awards show in a decade. Ellen DeGeneres' selfie became the most retweeted photo on Twitter, with over 2 million retweets. Twitter said that over 14 million Oscar-related tweets were sent worldwide during the telecast. Will Smith and his son Jaden won Worst Film Award at the annual Golden Raspberry Awards for their film After Earth. The Razzies, which was founded in 1980, is an awards ceremony which recognises the worst in film and takes place the day before the Oscars. Kim Kardashian also won Worst Supporting Actress for her role in Tyler Perry's film Temptation. Scarlett Johansson is reportedly pregnant with her first child with her fiancé, Romain Duriac. The 29-year-old, who became engaged to the French journalist 6 months ago, is due in August. Philip Seymour Hoffman died of a toxic mix of drugs, including heroin and cocaine, a New York medical examiner has revealed. His death was ruled an accident after his body was discovered on February 2nd. Hoffman had spoken openly of his battle with drugs. That's all from me. Back to you guys.
Ever wondered what it's like to be a hyena or make chocolate for a living?
I sat down with two West End performers to find out what it's like behind the scenes of The Lion King and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
My name's Sarah Amankwa. I'm in The Lion King in West End, and I play the role of Shenzi.
And my name's David Birch, and I'm in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I'm an Oompa Loompa.
They're just idiots.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of very active as a child. I was always trying to be the class clown. Usually.
It was
This is weird. Oh no!
Sorry. I didn't grow up in a family of actors, but we were very artistic, very creative. So I did have a lot of a creative background, loved drawing and just, running around and being a psycho.
I actually grew up, I didn't start dancing until I was about 12, and then, but there was a few jobs, and the main ones that always stuck out during secondary school was acting and being a police officer, funny enough, which was, and you do all those typical boy things, I want to be in the army or I want to do this, but those were the two that really shone through. And you literally were told when you got the breakdown, come at 10, be ready for anything. So you literally got your bag and you sat there, you got your dance gear, you got your songs, you got your script that they emailed through, and it's actually a harder bit is sometimes the waiting around, like actually sat there being nervous. Once you're in the audition room, you zone in, and that's not necessarily hard. You do that 12 times, you start to feel like you're having a nervous breakdown, but no, it was really, and actually just God blessed me and got through. So yeah.
It's very, very draining. And playing Shenzi as well, we had to do a lot of puppetry in the auditions. So you're having to learn so much so quickly. And then by the time I got down to the final, I was like, look, if I don't get it, it's cool, because I've learned a whole lot. And what was great about the auditions was that they're really supportive in there. They really want you to get the job, as a lot of casting, casting directors are. They're really kind of, that's why we called you in, because we want you to get the job. So a lot of times we kind of put that in our minds of, why am I being seen so many times? But it's cool. It's just, it's literally just kind of getting that doubt out of your mind and just thinking, okay, I have another opportunity to present myself. But hardcore process.
I came to realise that I would love to have been like the romantic lead at one point, just to do it. But at the same time, I've always come across as a short character, funny guy, and that's cool. And actually, I've embraced that now, and actually, I'm much more enjoying it now. I've embraced it. But at the same time, it's like, what if? Wouldn't it be nice just to kind of go, hey, so kind of, I hope, and actually, and it is getting better. People are starting to stand up and say, why not?
Yeah.
Starting to question, which is good.
It's hard as well for myself, because there are not many roles for, if I'm honest, for black women in the British television industry or theatre. So many things. It's so minute that, I guess with a lot of oppression breeds creativity. So there are a lot more writers who are coming up and who are creating roles for that. It's a blessing that I do get paid for it. That's awesome, and I can survive on it. Great. But if I was to choose between doing a show in The Lion King and doing a show that could, raise awareness on sex trafficking, I would do the show that will raise awareness of sex trafficking, because at the end of the day, for me, acting is an art form that can, change the way people think. It can free people from a lot more things than we can imagine, and it's an art form that can radically change the world.
See you later. See you Thursday.
And now to our unusual news. Bernie Dibbesman has scouted out the weirdest stories of the week.
A pastor at the Lord's Propeller Redemption Church in Nairobi, Kenya, has reportedly told women attending his church not to wear underwear so they can feel closer to God in mind and body. Reverend Njohi, however, has oddly not asked male congregants to avoid pants. Since the decree, most women have reportedly chosen to follow the rule. Nice. An American high school student allegedly called in a bomb threat because he couldn't meet his homework deadline and believed a snowstorm was imminent. Police in South Abington, Pennsylvania found no bomb and charged 18-year-old Colin Hosier with terroristic threats, false alarms, and disorderly conduct. Bummer, dude. A German judge has ruled in favor of a Berlin police cadet's breast implants. In 2012, the unidentified woman was rejected from the police force because the department believed her breast implants would prevent her from properly putting on a ballistic vest. She sued the department, but a doctor said it wouldn't affect her ability to carry out her duties. Arrest me anytime, bitte. News outlets worldwide were left stunned after news the notoriously homophobic Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni's daughter came out of the closet on local radio. Only, it wasn't true. Despite the many congratulations she received, the news was a prank call from a spoof website. That's all from me, Bernie Dibbesman. Back to you guys.
That was all for this week. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and all other social media. I'm Jade Garcia.
And I'm Felix Franz. See ya.
You know, all you need